wanting Bayonetta 2 to be exclusive, so maybe there is some sort of bond there. Um, and the fact that since they did that, maybe there's a little more push to put Bayonetta as a third-party character in Super Smash Brothers, 4, and she would have an interesting moveset with all the little magical powers that she does, her guns and all the little demon, devil, whatever stuff she does. Obviously, they won't have her stripped naked and do all her hair stuff with her suits and whatnot. I don't mean I know for a fact in the game she doesn't go and do that. She doesn't go on stuff like mature rated game, yeah, but like her suit is basically her hair. They're not gonna do anything with that. I doubt that because it's still Nintendo, it's still Smash Brothers. Even though they funded the game, I know they wouldn't let something like that in Smash Bros. But there's she's like a witch. She knows she has guns and magic, and like she can fight giant demon creatures and whatnot. Like you can really do a moveset, with that. The bad thing about her is she might be a little too mature for the game. Way more than Snake was. Snake could be censored. She has a harder time being censored than Snake was. And the fact that she's also a Sega character and we already have Sonic, and I doubt they'd put more than one company character in, because I think they would, if they want a fourth third party character, they'd rather go for someone, hey look, we want to represent another company. They have Namco, Capcom, and Sega. Someone else probably makes a little more sense in that regard. But I think that's the only two things that are really going against her, besides the fact that she's more of a recent acquisition for Nintendo and the fact that she's not really a big major icon, which I don't think that really should take away from her chances, but in some ways it does. Sorry. The next third party I think might stand a chance would be Rayman from obviously the Rayman series owned by Ubisoft. Rayman has quite a bit of history with Nintendo dating all the way back to like the N64, and then there's also GameCube and Wii and Wii U, 3DS. I think there's something on there's stuff on DS. I don't know about Game Boy Advance. I think there might be though. So there has history with Nintendo. It's probably one of the Ubisoft's characters that are more Nintendo oriented. Um, and he would have an interesting moveset. I do think he would be able to do all his little techniques he knows from the games, and it would be an interesting, unique character. But at the same time, I don't know if they would want to include him because he's not too much of a third party for Nintendo, and um, as of now, we've only seen him as a trophy, which might hint that he's in, but it seems like it's only a trophy. And Ubisoft, I don't know about representing Ubisoft as a third party, especially with a third party that's like, I mean, I'm not saying anything against Western studios, but I don't know if Sakurai or Nintendo would want to represent a third party that's specifically, hey, look, we're from a Western studio. I don't know about that one. Um, the next third party I think might stand a chance would be Ryu Hayabusa from the Ninja Gaiden series from Tecmo. Um, that series has a long-standing history with Nintendo. Dating all the way back to NES. It did come back with Ninja Gaiden 3, Razor's Edge on the Wii U. There is a push for him. You can basically have his classic form, his new form. You can have alternate costumes. He is a ninja. You can kind of have an interesting fighting style with that, with his sword and various ninja techniques. And I think that's pretty much like, and he, I wouldn't say he's as fan demanded as a lot of other characters, but I have seen some demand for him. He does have popularity. It seems like Nintendo here and there has ties with Tecmo, so maybe that might make sense. Like they do stuff with Tecmo in like a relationship kind of way. The bad things are, out of all the third parties I named, he would be more, I think, known than Bayonetta and probably more requested than Rayman. But I think someone like a Cyan Belmont or a Bomberman make a little more sense than him. In the sense he is, even though they can kind of base him more off his classic series, he's a little mature, I think, for the series too. But he could be toned down. You don't have to have super bloody Ryu Hayabusa from the newer games. You can kind of have the same design from those and from Dead or Alive and whatnot, but have it centered more on, hey, look, we got, we're basing them more off, like censoring them and basing it more off the older games. You never know. And then the last third party spot I think makes some sense for this game. It's not a specific character, but a specific sort of representation. That's Square. Square Enix, like a representation from Square, because there's a few choices from them. I can't really name a specific choice. Some people say, "Oh, I want Sora from Kingdom Hearts." Some people want like the Dragon Quest hero, or some sort of Dragon Quest hero, or something from Dragon Quest, the slime or whatnot. Oh, what about the Chocobo? What about the Cactuar? What about the Moogle? From Final Fantasy, or a legit Final Fantasy character like, hey, we got Terra, or we got Cecil Harvey, something like that from like Final Fantasy 4 and 6 and whatnot. And then some people say, what, maybe we should have a class from Final Fantasy, like the Black Mage, or the Red Mage, or the White Mage, or the Fighter, or whatever. There's so much Square rep, and it does have history, more so now on handhelds, but back in the day, Final Fantasy was on the NES and Super Nintendo. It still is on their handhelds. They did make remakes on the DS. There was Theater Final Fantasy on the 3DS, both versions of that. There's Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is still very Nintendo oriented. Kingdom Hearts is starting to become a little more Nintendo oriented. Maybe if they do a Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Wii U, maybe that might make more sense for Sora. If they could work out the deals with Disney to also include them. Square is, I think, because but the thing is, they're not as Nintendo oriented now, at least in a general sense, which I wish they were. They're more on the handhelds, but I wish they were more Nintendo oriented than they are, and I'm hoping stuff changes in the future. Maybe for Smash Bros. 5 they got a character or something, or I don't know, but like out of them, like out of all these characters, I would put them. I would rather have them more than a Rayman, or have probably more than a Bayonetta, about as equal to a little like about as equal to a Bowerman or Simon Belmont over Ryo Hayabusa, but their chances aren't as likely as someone like a Belmont, or like Konami rep or whatever. Yeah, it's hard to say for this one. And those are my six ideas for a third-party character, for a fourth third-party character in Super Smash Bros. 4. If there's another one, not including the idea that Snake might return, obviously. I hope you guys like this video. Put in the comments down below. Do you agree with any of these choices? Would you want to see any of these choices? Is there any other character you would like to see as a third-party character in the Smash Bros. Series? I'd like to see your thoughts. I'm Sniping is Fun. Peace. Please subscribe if you want to. Have a nice day. See you all later.